Behind the grand gates of Buckingham Palace, whispers of tension and unease are echoing once again. What was meant to be a cautious step toward family reconciliation has instead reignited speculation and left Prince Harry reeling from what some insiders are calling the king's final ultimatum. There's no way King Charles will let his disgraced youngest son have the best of both worlds. And now, the Duke's praying it will get through. The Duke of Sussex's recent visit to the United Kingdom, though publicly framed as a noble return to attend the Well-Child Awards, quickly became overshadowed by a dramatic security storm and a painfully blunt exchange with his father. For the first time since his bitter departure in 2020, Harry had been granted police protection, an unusual move considering his long-standing legal battle with the Home Office. But as palace officials quietly leaked, the decision to provide such protection was not authorized through royal or governmental channels. Instead, it was arranged because the event involved children and carried a heightened security risk. The implication was clear. This protection was for the vulnerable attendees, not for Harry himself. Humiliation, insiders say, followed Harry throughout his 4-day stay. For a prince once accustomed to unquestioned privilege, being granted conditional security under exceptional circumstances was a stark reminder of how far his royal standing has fallen. Yet the greater blow came not from the police or the press, but from King Charles himself. During a tense 54-minute meeting at Clarence House, the monarch reportedly echoed the firm words of his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, "There is no such thing as a half-in, half-out royal." Harry, who has long expressed his desire to contribute publicly while maintaining his independent ventures, was met with his father's unwavering refusal. King Charles made it absolutely clear that while Harry would always be his son, he would never again hold an official public role within the monarchy. The sting of that rejection could not be softened by tea and pleasantries. For Harry, it was a crushing reality check, one that underscored his status as an outsider in the very institution he was born into. For Charles, however, it was an act of necessity, a final line drawn to protect the crown from blurred loyalties and fractured responsibilities. Even so, courtiers hint at a delicate balancing act underway. High-level discussions between the king's advisors and Harry's team are exploring ways to present a public show of unity between father and son. With Charles's health under constant watch, appearances of family solidarity could serve as powerful reassurance to the public. But behind closed doors, the atmosphere remains tense. The humiliation Harry felt arriving under contested security arrangements, meeting a father who firmly closed the door on his royal return, cannot be easily brushed aside. Earlier this month, a judge suggested he could allow the release of some sealed documents from Harry's visa application in a lengthy legal case sparked when conservative Washington, D.C. think tank, the Heritage Foundation, questioned why the Duke of Sussex was allowed into the U.S. in 2020. The group are questioning the granting of his visa after he admitted in his book Spare taking cocaine, marijuana, and psychedelic mushrooms. The think tank has argued that Harry either received special treatment from the Biden administration or had lied on his immigration forms. Several weeks ago, Judge Carl Nichols told a hearing in Washington, D.C., that he wanted maximum disclosure as long as it doesn't violate privacy. It could pave the way for documents to be released after the judge previously said that after the U.S. government meet the deadline, the court will determine what portions of those materials can be produced to Heritage. Prolific drug use can lead to applications being rejected. However, immigration officers use their discretion against a range of factors. At the center of the legal tug-of-war is whether Prince Harry received special treatment or omitted key details in his application. Critics argue that the scale of documentation now uncovered, more than 1,000 records, suggests a high level of official attention rarely afforded to ordinary applicants. The Heritage Foundation insists that some of these documents might prove that Harry fibbed on his forms and are demanding full transparency. Lawyer Samuel Dewey, representing the foundation, said that the volume of internal communications shows the U.S. government has been closely monitoring Harry's case. On the other hand, Harry's defenders point to his public honesty and spare as evidence that he has nothing to hide. They argue that he would have had to receive a waiver, something not uncommon for foreign nationals with past drug use, and that such a waiver would have been legally granted if disclosed properly. As a judge prepares to rule on which documents will be unsealed, the outcome could set a legal precedent for the privacy rights of public figures applying for U.S. residency and potentially open the door to broader political implications down the line. The think tank also said answers on the Duke's prior drug use in his visa application should have been disclosed, as they could raise questions over the U.S. government's integrity. In the DHS's response to the legal claim, it said, "Much like health, financial, or employment information, a person's immigration information is private personal information." This latest chapter in Harry's UK saga leaves more questions than answers. Can a relationship built on such fragile trust survive the glare of public events? Or will the king's ultimatum, however necessary for the stability of the monarchy, drive an even deeper wedge between father and son? From Buckingham Palace, the message seems clear. King Charles is standing firm, determined to protect the future of the crown. For Prince Harry, the reality is equally stark. Reconciliation may come, but only on his father's terms.